be really focusing on reflection. And so that's going to be really helpful for our teachers as they engage in this self-assessment, which is new this year to our evaluation.
Ms. Penison, before you go on
Yes.
to the next slide, why don't y'all go ahead and go back one? We did receive a question in the chat about the times of the webinars.
As you can see here, all calls will take place from 12 to 1. The only reason we had to change September 23rd, you see here 9 and 11:30, is because this was scheduled during the storm week. And so we had to fit those in, but all other calls are 12 to 1.
Thank you so much.
All right, so now I do want to highlight our on-site implementation support sessions. If you have not attended one, we highly recommend that you join these. We had our first sessions last week in Monroe City Schools and in St. Landry, and our participants, they learned so much. It was such a valuable experience being able to all observe a real life lesson in a Louisiana classroom and really talk about the evidence, looking at that student work and how important it is to utilize that student work in our scoring, looking at mastery towards the objective. And it was just really powerful. Next week, we will be in West Feliciana and St. Charles, and they do have some slots still available. So I highly recommend that you click the link that Abby put in there for on-site sessions and visit Eventbrite to sign up. We also will be having these sessions in October as well. The first set will be the 1st through the 3rd, and the last set will be the 28th through the 30th, and those will be available soon. So I highly recommend that you jump on and sign up for one of those this week. They are half-day sessions, so it makes it a little easier to fit into your schedule. So you can either visit an AM or a PM, and we are doing these throughout the state. Like I said, we have some in October, and then we'll be doing some more rounds in January and February. All right, I'm going to kick it over to Keisha to talk about our data system. We do want to always keep you informed about the latest information with the evaluation, and that is what's up and coming.
Thanks, Lori. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time to join us today. The Louisiana Evaluation System, which is known as LESS, will replace the Compass Information System, known as CIS. All 2024-2025 evaluation data will be entered directly into LESS. Data will be entered throughout the school year into LESS, as there will be no spreadsheet uploads this year by both the evaluatee and the evaluator. LESS has been on a phased rollout. The launch has been on a phased rollout. The LES system contacts have been rolling that out to the various school systems, and the part of the phased rollout allows for users to be able to assist users in the next phase of the rollout. Since users will access EdLink security for LESS, it is encouraged to make sure you have MILA credentials. Be sure to check with your LESS system contact to see where you are in the process as a school system. I know many of the LESS system contacts have been indicating like upcoming principal meetings that you may be having and such, where some of that information will also be mentioned and provided for you as well as that. A copy of the phased rollout is in the chat if you would like to take a look at it as well. Now I'll kick it over to, I think it's Jill.
Well, hello. Good to see everyone today. I'm now going to take you into our thinking today around the Louisiana Leader Evaluation System and start off with the goal setting component. So as we begin this journey today, we want to take time to examine the purpose. So, the purpose of the enhanced evaluation system for Louisiana leaders is to provide school leaders opportunities to do the following things: to regularly reflect on their leadership practices, to set goals that are aligned with the LDOE's Louisiana Leader Rubric, develop an action plan with steps for reaching identified goals, and provides school leaders ongoing coaching, feedback, and support throughout the year. Those who have completed the Louisiana leader evaluation training will recall that the primary purpose is to support it, or the educator training was to support teachers to grow in their practice through reflection. The Louisiana Leader Evaluation process has the same primary purpose: to continuously support and grow leaders through reflective practice. So the Louisiana Leader Evaluation System is grounded in that rubric, the Louisiana Leader Rubric, which is comprised of research-based principal leadership standards to define effective leadership practices. The LLR creates a roadmap for growth for each individual school leader by articulating levels of effectiveness across multiple indicators of practice, which is the roadmap for growth that's rooted in goal setting, aligned to the Louisiana Leader Rubric standards, and ongoing evidence collection, reflection, and coaching. Today, we will preview the goal setting process, make connections between the process and current leader practices in your system, and we'll identify what we can do to prepare to engage in the goal setting process. So as you take a moment to reflect and review the graphic on this slide, which illustrates the school leader observation process, you'll recall that the beginning of year conference is the starting point in the evaluation process. And the BOY conference engages the evaluator and the leader in a review of school data and the Louisiana Leader Rubric. The leader shares goals for the year, and the evaluator and leader collaborate to create an action plan for an identified area of growth. It's important to note that leader ownership and collaboration between the evaluator and the leader drive this observation process. The leader determines their individual goals based on their individual and school needs. The evaluator works with the leader to develop an action plan to positively impact the need. So the following self-analysis questions guide that goal-setting discussion. What is your school improvement focus? What data should you see move as a result of your school improvement focus? What data will be important to monitor? And what indicators and descriptors would best align with ensuring you carry out your plan? Take the next 2 minutes to reflect on and respond to the questions on pages 2 and 3 of your participant guide today. Those 2 questions here are: what do you notice about the guiding questions that are provided here? And how might this goal setting process connect to other goal setting processes that principals engage in? So in your participant guide for a couple of minutes. And Abby has placed the participant guide link in the chat box for you. So now that you've had a couple of moments to reflect and respond to these questions in your participant guide, hopefully some of the thoughts that you were having around question one about what you notice about the guiding questions is that they prompt the leader to talk about the school data and specific areas of need. They also prompt the leader to connect their school data and areas of need to specific indicators and descriptors on the rubric, and how this goal setting process might connect to other goal setting processes that principals engage in. Maybe you're making some connections around SLTs or school improvement plans. The intent of the BOY conference is to emphasize the reflection process and to set measurable and attainable goals, as well as to develop an action plan that will enable the leader to strengthen his or her leadership practice. This process of goal setting can be purposefully connected to student achievement goals, school goals, leadership team goals, and teacher collaboration goals that have already been established. This creates a cohesive process and will help leaders to attach specific and measurable goals to specific leader actions and practices that can be leveraged to meet the goal. This is about capacity building in action. So we also have provided you some examples of leader goals in your participant guide on page 3. So take the next few moments to review the example leader goals. And as you review these examples, keep the following questions in mind that are also here on the slide. 1, how is data incorporated into the goal in a meaningful way? 2, how does the goal support leader growth in leadership practices? And 3, how are your current goals similar and or different from these examples? So take a few moments to reflect. And as soon as you feel led, select one of those questions and respond to it in the chat box. I already have a couple coming in. So you still have about another more minute for your own reflections and entering your responses into the chat box, but I'd like to read a few, if you'll drop those in, that are coming in. Oh, and Deborah, I love how you phrase guiding questions. It's the GQ are intentional and interwoven with the rubric. Absolutely. And thank you, Jennifer, from Broadmoor Elementary, which I'll be seeing you guys in on-site support visits soon in Caddo. We currently use data to set goals, says Jennifer, and use the data in the wording of the goal Excellent. And express the gain expected. Absolutely. Know what you want to see change. What's the change we want to see? And then how will we know that we've arrived or we've achieved it? Thank you for sharing those. So, any others, please drop those in. It's so important that, school leaders have, specific goals that they set and narrowed in on specific actions to achieve those goals. And even considering the roles of those who can support that goal for leaders as well. So one more in the chat box. Thank you from Deborah from West Carroll. She says for question 1, data. Data is incorporated into the goals by identifying the who. You're so right, Deborah. And the what, the when, and the how. Absolutely. Yes, so the principal cannot do all things alone. That's why we have those awesome people on our leadership teams. So you guys can keep sending some of your thoughts into around those example goals that you reviewed as we continue forward and thinking about our next component of our learning today, which is around the professional growth plan, the PGP or coaching plan. And so each leaders develop school action plans that may be called school improvement plans or strategic plans or long range plans. The beginning of the year goal setting process also allows leaders to develop goals and action plans and steps for support. Each leader's growth goal is always unique, but it can always be linked to the rubric, since the rubric is a comprehensive set of best practices for school leadership. These goals and action steps developed during the BOY conference and process can be embedded into an existing school improvement plan. This plan is then linked in the data system for the leader's PGP or coaching plan. So now I'm going to turn it over to Nicole to lead us in a little reflection and some next steps.
Thank you, Jill. So as we wrap up our call today, we want to ensure that you all have time to reflect on today's learning, and we really want you to think application, and we'll also review next steps. So now we would like for you to take a few minutes to individually reflect, and we'll see some questions pop up on the next slide. All right, so reflect on these questions, and you have space in your participant guide to record your reflections. We want you to think about what you've learned today regarding the beginning of year conference and the goal setting process. And then record your reflections for these 3 questions. How is the goal setting process for school leaders in your system or your school similar to this process? How is it different? What role do system level leaders have in supporting school leaders in goal setting and action planning? And how might you prepare for this goal setting process, whether you're an evaluator or you're a school leader, in order for this process to be meaningful and for it to result in growth in leadership practices? Keep in mind, after your individual reflection time, we're going to go into breakout rooms and we're going to share reflections with others and make connections across different school systems and schools. So go ahead and take a few minutes to record your reflections individually. All right. So everybody's had some time to reflect individually on these 3 questions. I hope you've jotted down some notes so that you'll be able to engage in some meaningful conversation in just a minute or so in our breakout rooms. All right, so let's go ahead and move to the next slide and we'll take a look at these breakout room instructions. All right, so in just a couple of seconds, a few seconds, we're gonna move into those breakout rooms. Before we do though, we ask if you have not yet changed your Zoom window name, renamed it to your first and last name in your school system. If you would go ahead and do that, that would be helpful. That will help in that 1 minute for introductions piece that you see on the screen. So when you get to the rooms, you'll first take a minute to introduce yourselves, and then we would ask for you to take turns responding to the questions that you just reflected on individually. So how is the LLR goal setting process similar to current goal setting processes in your system or your school? And also, how is it different? What role do system level leaders have in supporting leaders in goal setting and action planning? And how might you prepare for this goal setting process in order for it to be meaningful and to result in growth in leadership practices? Abby has placed those guiding questions in the chat box. They're also in your participant guide, so you have them to refer to alongside your own individual reflections. In just a moment, when Abby sends us to breakout rooms, I think you'll see a little blue button pop up on your screen and ask you to join a room. So you can just click that button and hop on over there. We're going to spend about 10 minutes in our breakout rooms sharing ideas with others and in experiences with others. So we look forward to that time for collaboration, and we'll see you back in about 10 minutes.
Did one this morning.
So is the portal open?
No, it's not. I have to do it by paper and then
Oh.
I'll just transfer it later. But I have,
Get started.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
20, I have 25 to do.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have to get started.
Yeah, I need to get started too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, good
Hello,
morning.
Calcasieu.
Hi,
Good morning.
good morning. My name is
Oh,
Carolyn.
I think it's
Kiedler.
afternoon now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Carolyn T. Edwards with Calcasieu, and I am the district coordinator for Leads. And so that is why I'm here.
Okie dokie. I'm Tanya Cook. I'm the principal of Acadian Elementary in Terrebonne Parish.
I'm Tracy Chauvian. I'm the principal at Montague Elementary in Terrebonne Parish.
I'm Kelly Lee. I'm the Director of Student Learning in Red River. And I'm sorry I was called out, so I don't know. I just got back in here and it said go to a breakout room, so I don't know what we're going to be discussing, but I'm going to listen very intently.
Got everybody? I think so. I think one of the differences, I know they said to talk about the differences. I feel like it's a little bit more specific with this evaluation tool. The tool in the past was a little more generic, and on here, everything kind of ties in a lot better together. So you know, what your goal is. That's one thing that I find.
I agree, Tracy. I think it's more focused and aligned with whatever you create your district focus to be, then it kind of keeps you on track with that. You know, sometimes as leaders, you know, in a school, you'll get your hands on a lot of different pots, and sometimes you get off focus a little bit, but this kind of always brings you back to that data. So you can be focused on what is your goal and then kind of revisiting that throughout the year so you stay on track.
And I think the similarity that I would see would be much like the goal setting that we've done for the strategic action plans for individual schools and then the district's plan. And so we include those components of the who, the what, the when, and the how in that goal setting activity. But like you were saying, it's more strategic, it's more purposeful, there's more guidance from the state level, which makes it have more of a priority, you know, for everyone to do it and to do it well. I think it supports that.
Agreed. I think it moves from that checklist kind of approach to something more intentional.
And I think here we're very small. We have one elementary, we have one junior high and one high school here in Red River. So we're very small. So I've only been in this role just now a year, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing with this because, like you're saying, it is purposeful. It actually gives me something. Before, we just kind of let our principals kind of decide their goals and that kind of thing. Now this really kind of helps us be more involved with that at the district level here, and actually get involved. I'm enjoying having conversations with them, looking at data, really figuring out where we need to focus at each school. We usually do a district goal and everybody has to kind of follow it. But, you know, with this, our high school and our junior high don't actually have the same goals, you know, so we're really focusing, individualizing by schools and what their goals are going to be.
I think for me as a leader, I think I like the feedback of somebody having to be in my school, seeing what I'm doing. So really having their hands in the whole process that I am, whatever goals that I want to make happen for my school, and they're not far removed, because in order to do this process and to do it right, they're going to have to be in the schools. So if you truly want to be reflective and grow in your practices, then you can have those types of conversations with someone who kind of understands what you're trying to do and help guide you in maybe some of those areas that you may just need a little steering. So I think it overall is going to be a great process, and I think it's going to keep district personnel and school level personnel in contact, because it keeps district tied to the schools. So they kind of,
right? So it's holding everyone accountable for true instructional leadership, and supporting that instructional leadership. Alika, do you have any thoughts?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So we're kind of in the process of developing our goals. We're setting our goals.
Link and how that all works. So I think that they're trying to fix some of those glitches. But yes, it is. The ones who have access can actually see the portal. They've just never seen it before to know, you know, our next steps. But yes, they've got access to the portal itself.
So you guys, y'all are so lucky. Look who just popped into our room. Keisha.
Miss America.
What you got? Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh, she's the one that helped me.
See?
Hey. I don't know what y'all got. Is it LES?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And it sounds like our superintendent may have access to that and it needs to be rolled out. Is that right?
Whoever your LES system contact is
Okay.
kind of who I've been working with, either your LES system contact or your data manager. Actually, the system contacts and the data managers are realizing they're working closely together, because of the lovely word of EdLink and all those things. So they've been working they've been working together to make sure people are registered, for example, just to even get into all their Mila accounts and things like that. And then those people are also letting your schools and principals know what role and all that to select, because some systems, it just depends on the system. If they want everyone, different people to have an updater role, or just the role for them to be able to input their observations and evaluations. Many are telling me that they're having principals meetings this week, next week, and that they're going to start rolling that out, kind of thing. So like I see somebody from Jonesboro, I just talked to your person actually this morning. So she's going to be getting something out. Jennifer, you Terrebonne?
Yes.
Terrebonne, I've been talking to Maria.
Okay,
Maria's on it. I think y'all have principals meeting on Wednesday.
Thursday.
So,
Thursday
yep,
this
or
week.
something. So she's working on it. So a lot of it is coming.
Okay.
They're just, those system people are trying to make sure that they have everything before they just full blown it to everybody. Because I will tell you, within a new system, there's bugs still in there. People click on this or that, you're getting an error. So they are the ones actually trying it out to try to see what's going on. We are having some issues trying to figure out like why this person can't access it, why this person's not on the list, why. So it's still some of that also still going on as well. But a lot of systems are moving forward with giving guidance as far as doing observations on paper, doing SLTs on paper, those kinds of things to kind of keep, yeah. But I will tell you, the good news is once you're in, I will tell you, it's a very simple system. You're going to like it. It's very simple. It's just that part of getting everyone in.
And I think mainly what you said, Keisha, about working with, like, I'm the system contact for the LES, but then having to contact with the data manager, like we're having to work together on it because of EdLink.
Yeah. Yeah, and Shana, just let me know if you need to set up something before, because I've been getting appointments with different systems so we can get you straight before either you have a principals meeting or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you all had some productive collaboration in your breakout rooms. So we're going to share out now. I know that in my breakout room that I was sitting in and listening, those leaders had a lot of very valid points to make about this new process for leader evaluation and goal setting. We're excited to hear more from all of you about those beginning of year conferences and the goal setting process that is now much more meaningful. And it's something that's not just put on a shelf, it's something that is revisited repeatedly or regularly throughout the year. All right. So thank you for your engagement. We enjoyed listening to you. And now we're going to set up to take a couple of minutes to think about next steps. And I'm going to turn it back over to Lori.
All right, we had some great sharing and discussions in the breakout room. So I'm always excited to visit the breakout rooms and hear that sharing, because that's really what's going to move the needle, is our sharing and collaborating. And so as we move into the end of our call, we just want to ensure that we're going to continue our learning. And so we want you to think about, as a school leader, If you're a school leader, what next steps will you need to take to be prepared for a goal setting process? Or if you're a system leader, what next steps will you need to take to support school leaders and evaluators in developing meaningful and measurable goals that are going to result in growth in the leadership practices? So just take a moment to commit to your personal next steps. You can record it on page 4 of the participant guide if you would like. And then in closing, we do want to reiterate that we have lots of resources available in our LEADS library, and you can also sign up for the LEADS teacher newsletter. Here you're going to find lots of updates on LEADS throughout the school year. And then, of course, please contact leads@la.gov with any specific questions that you may have. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate it. I know it was an extra unscheduled meeting as we had to try to replace our previously scheduled call, but thank you for joining. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. You have a great day too.
Thanks.